a full-blooded Lumbee Indian, and David has been talking and interviewing Running Deer about his past, about the culture of the Indian tribes of the East Coast, and we're looking at some artifacts and some Indian costumes and things that Running Deer has collected in his lifetime. So I'm going to hand it over to Dave. What are you doing, David?
I'm making a necklace out of a shell in the middle, and I'm putting knots here so when I put the bead in that it won't go through to the bottom, so the bead won't go behind here and you can't see them. So Mr. Running Deer told me to tie knots so you could do it and it'd be like that. So you put the beads like that, and so it wouldn't be piled in back of here, so Excellent. You couldn't see anything.
Oh, good.
So I'm wearing some of his children's clothes, this shirt. This used to be one of his child's
ribbons.
And this is a necklace, and this is a bear paw. And these are beads from what tribe?
Cherokee.
The Cherokee tribe, because one of his friends used to be from the Cherokee tribe, and the Cherokee and the Tindy tribe,
Lumbee
tribe were friends. And so he went over there, and his friend, and what is his friend's name?
His name is Gray Owl.
Gray Owl, and he made this for Running Deer.
That's exactly correct, David.
And so he brought over some of his Indian things he's had for a long time. And so I thought it'd be nice for him to bring over some things. And right now he's trying to decorate a feather out of
buckskin
and a goose feather.
Goose feather. And this is from the snow goose.
Snow goose.
And I may comment on the feather that traditionally was used among many tribes. A feather would be given for a great deed that someone would do. And it was like a medal. And the feather also would be called a prayer feather. A prayer feather, which meant that when you had this feather, that you had the blessings of the Great Spirit to protect you if your mind was in the right place and you would try to practice being good yourself. Then you would have a prayer feather that you might wear in a hairlock or around your clothing, and it would, and so in other words, bring you good luck. But it was a little bit more than luck if you had your mind in the right place and believed that good things could happen. But you'd have to practice good things yourself in order to get one of these feathers. And that's one of the reasons, David, that you're going to be getting a feather today. You're going to help make it, and then your award, just like Indian children a long time ago would have gotten an award, is that you would be given a prayer feather for a great deed. And for you to go out and learn more about another culture and take some of your time today when you could have slept in bed longer, or you could have been playing or down bowling or whatever, playing baseball, you decided you'd like to learn more about another kind of people. And so your award is going to be a prayer feather for having that right kind of mind.
Oh. He also brought other things like this. This used to be an Indian fan made out of what kind of feather?
It's a turkey, like you said before.
And it'd be just like a fan. And it works very well.
Puts out a lot of air, doesn't it? And if people were at ceremonies and they got hot and they would just use that, then you wouldn't have to have air conditioning around the lodge.
And over here he brought was this. And what is this?
Okay, this is a pipe, David, And the pipe would be used in ceremony. And it would be smoked, and there wouldn't be drugs in it. It would be herbs. And the people would pray with this pipe. And today Indian people still would use this pipe to say a prayer. And the pipe is offered in 6 directions. And you know these directions. If you go down where it's warm, that's called the what? The south?
South.
The south, right? So the pipe is offered to the south. And then the sun sets in the what?
North.
In the west. In the west. So the pipe is offered in that direction. And then where it's very, very cold would be
West. North.
the north, right. And the pipe would be offered to the north. And the sun comes up in the east, and it's offered in that direction. And what's up there? The sky. So it's offered to Father Sky and smoke, and down to the earth,
Floor.
the floor toward the earth, and that would be the Mother Earth direction. And so the people would say a prayer in each one of these 6 directions. Now 5 of these directions are on here, and the 6th one's faded out, but it would be right here. So remember, there are 6 sacred directions. Let's go through them again. Very warm in the south, and you go around the way a clock's going, so the sun would set in
North.
in
West.
the west, and then we go where it's real cold,
In the north.
and we need the north because the north wind is needed to control the insect population so the crops can grow. So the pipe would be smoked, and the Great Spirit above would be thanked for the north. And then you have the east, and then you have Father Sky and Mother Earth. Very good, and that's what the pipe was used for. Okay? You can hold that. This is a little bit loose. Another pipe actually fits on here, and so that's why it's loose.
And these are called
Bone beads.
bone beads. And so the insides are little, and he told me you had to literally chew it. And this is what kind of
Buckskin from a deer.
Yeah. And chew it was little enough for the feed bone to go in.
Mm-hmm.
So you had to do that to put it in. And there was something else here.
Medicine wheel.
The medicine wheel over here. Right here, you put this on your
Door or the lodge.
and it's like
It would keep you safe from harm, and it's like a medicine wheel or a wheel of health. If you believe that if you are good and you help other people out, then you can have good health, and you would use this as a symbol that good health can come your way, and that you can have good prayers that you can make so that you and your family and your friends would stay healthy and safe. And it's a medicine wheel. This is bear skin, and this is sweetgrass. It's actually a weed. Feel up. Feels like a plant. And it's been woven into a strand and braided. And this is burned in ceremony, and the smoke goes up when you make a prayer. And it's called sweetgrass.
David, do you know what the lodge was?
no.
Okay, well ask Running Deer what a lodge is.
What is a lodge going to do?
A lodge, David, would be a house or a home where the children and their parents would live and friends would come to visit, just the same as the house that you live in. It could be a teepee or it could be a wigwam. They both have the shape similar to an ice cream cone if you invert it, or conical shape, a teepee shape, and some tribes would have a wigwam And some had a long house that they would cover with grass and mud, and it would be called a longhouse, and it would also be a lodge. So it's a place where the people would live.
And what is the clothes you're wearing?
Okay, the shirt that I have on David is called, it's a ribbon shirt, mostly worn by the Plains Indians. But Indian people all over the country will wear a ribbon shirt like this. And it has, just like the one that you have, if you stand up a minute, this is an applique that's sewn onto the shirt, separate from the shirt itself. And then the ribbon is sewn on here and on the sleeve. And if you would do a turn, and you can see the back part of it, and it's turn all the way around, and then we have a ribbon going across the back. And
all the way across your back, a red ribbon and a yellow ribbon.
And these would be worn at ceremony, or if you did a dance. It would be done at a ceremony or a dance. Now there's one kind of dance that you can get you and your friends to do, and let me show you. If you
That's logical. Now we go to, I'm going to use one of the two useful things this gentleman ever said in his life. Just find it amusing.
Go that one time. All right. Now, at some ceremonies, when I would go to sell tea, I don't know if that's too much of a glare, I might dress up this way. But if I would go to work, then I may dress up just like everybody else. So even though Indian people are different, in other ways they're the same as anybody else, but with their own identity. And so one good thing that they try to do like this is keep some of the old ways, but yet keep up with the times and try to survive like everybody else. And that makes sense, doesn't it? So that's, and then there's another picture. I don't know if this will show up, but if I would do a program for a group, you can turn around a little bit and toward the camera, yeah, and point to the canoe. And I would dress up a little bit, and then maybe show the kids how
What kind of leather coat is it?
Okay, that's a vest, and it's made of the same kind of material that we're using here called buckskin. Okay? And this is a canoe. It has the effect of birch bark, but it's not. It's fiberglass. But the Indians in the Northeast would take the bark from a tree and they would make a canoe similar to this. Now, most people would think that's an old Indian village or a wilderness area, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
So it shows you the land is sacred and beautiful no matter where you are. That's about 3 minutes from Dundalk High School. Yep, right out here at Merritt Park Beach. Sometimes the students will guess where that scene is, and others will think it's way out in the wilderness. Okay?
And
Now,
what is this called?
okay, this is a shawl here. Maybe later on we can take this shawl and we can get one of the ladies to put it on, and I'll show you how a lady would put the shawl around her shoulders, and then she would also be in a dance with the shawl on. And I think what we're going to do now is, yeah, we're going to do this feather, and then I'll give it to you, and watch how it's done, and then you can either keep this one, or you can give this, and make another one for your mom, or you can give your mom this one, and you can make you one for yourself later. We put a bead on there, and then if you'll find the end of that, or you can break it, and this is just a kind of string.
It's just like ordinary string?
Pretty much. There's nothing special about the string. And we just do that so that this end will stay on there. And then we come back under and make a double knot. And if you get the scissors there for me next to the string. And we'll cut this off right between there. Okay? And then we'll take something like felt or some kind of material, depending on what color you like, and we'll just put yellow on here. And then see if I can do it a little bit, a smaller piece. All this way. And this just decorates the feather, and then you can hang it up. It's a prayer feather like the medicine wheel, and or an award feather.
Yeah. It helps you to heal yourself.
To heal yourself and to remember that you should always do good things and help other people that are in need.
I think this is neat, the pipe.
Oh yeah, especially when they used it for prayer, huh?
Yeah.
This seems to be sliding off. Let's see if we can push it back a little bit, because the shawl is very slippery. Now we're going to take this and we're going to tie this. What usually looks best if you put one color in the center and then the same color on each side. But I just have one color today, so we'll put the same color at 3 different ends, 3 different places. One in the middle and on each end. Whoop, and that's what happens sometimes. If you pull it too tight, it'll break, and then you have to go back and find it, find the ends, and sort of like start over. When you wind this, if you make it more into a band instead of a skinny line, it usually looks a little better. It's sort of important that this end is long, and when it breaks, it can become so short it's a little bit difficult to handle. But we're going to put that one on, and then one more.
Does every Indian have to have one, or just you if you want to make one, you can make
Okay, nowadays people just make them, and in the old days it was, you didn't have to have one, but if you had one, you were looked at like you had metal.
And what feathers are these from?
Okay, that's from a red-tailed hawk. And the pipes are decorated just like other things are decorated. And
This is the same thing with the feather?
yes, that's a feather. Hold that up and we can get a good shot of it. Hold your hand right about where mine is. And you can see the one color in the center.
Yeah.
And it's different.
And 2 of the same colors at the end.
Mm-hmm. So now you ask a good question, David. Does everybody have to have one? Many Indian people will
Want to make
want one and want to make one, and then put it in their car, or if they live out in the country and they have a horse, they may tie it to the saddle of their horse. Or some people will just put it in their room.
Or hang it on a necklace, maybe?
Right. You can put them on a necklace, and if you go to a ceremony, you can actually wear it as part of your dress. So we have a second one on,
And this is third one.
and this is the third. The feathers usually come from some animal that's very sacred. This is a goose that is very sacred. Of course, all animals are sacred and they have their place in the environment. We should protect them.
When you put this on your door, is it supposed to spin around, or is it supposed to stand still?
You just stand still, and that's right. You would take it like that's right, and you would hang it up. We were mentioning animals, David. Some people, in killing an animal, they think it's wrong, but what the Indians would do, if they would kill an animal for food, they would do this. They would say a little prayer. Oh, little animal, forgive me. I'm sorry I had to take your life, but the children are hungry. I will take some part of you and I will hang it up on the lodge. And remember that you gave your life for my family. So they would not just kill the animal, but they would use it for food and then ask for its forgiveness. And that was very important. So here's one way that you can make a prayer feather. And you can hold that up to the camera and get a view of it.
Hey guys.
Yes.
Okay. Earthquake in Columbia, Maryland this morning, 2.5 on the Richter scale.
Good.
I think this is neat because is this just one pack of feathers?
This would be when a turkey has his tail out behind him like that. That's what that would be. This would be on his back.
That would be just one feather?
Yeah, and it would come up like that, or you could put it out flat and walk, and then it would come up. Many of the Indian children now in schools, David, your age, they're learning their language and they're learning English at the same time. So that's one thing that's going on with Indian children. Some are becoming doctors and lawyers and teachers instead of just working in the Indian community on the reservation or in the Indian village. They may go out and get a professional training in college or university and set up an office if they want to become a doctor or, you know, some other profession.
I just looked at the back of this and it has like Indian writing on it.
Okay, these are represent 4 of the sacred directions. The south, the north, the south, the west, the north, and the east. And so that's what he put on there for me. And
The sun.
okay, that's what this is. I don't know if we can get that on the camera. These are the 4 directions. And my friend had a son named Crow, and he helped him make this, and this is like the print of a crow. It's sort of the way he signed it, Crow. And my friend was that made this was a dean at American University. So you see that Indian people do go in professions. Also, American University is a big university in Washington, D.C.
And these are bear paws?
These are bear paws. And my cousin killed the bear, and then we took parts of the animal like the prayer said. And then we would use the other parts for food. Would you like to hear an Indian prayer?
Okay.
Okay, this is a prayer that is intended to pray to God or the Great Spirit to help you be strong. And it goes like this. And it was by Chief White Cloud of Jibway. That's a tribe out west. And it says, "O Great Spirit, I hear your voice in the wind, and your breath gives life to everything you've created. Hear me. I'm a person before you. I need your strength and your wisdom. Not that I might find myself greater than my friends, but that I might fight my greatest enemy, myself. Help me to always appreciate the humming insects and messages in the trees and in the rocks. There are messages there, aren't there? And the sky gives us messages. Can tell us when what's going to happen if you look at the clouds.
Yeah, like it's raining.
That's right. It can predict the weather. There are a lot of messages out there. And sometimes we walk along with our head down and we don't look for the messages. Help me that I might see all the messages and that I might appreciate the red and purple sunset and that I might see beauty in everything and others that you have created. I pray, O Great Spirit, as I walk the straight path toward the setting sun, I pray that my eyes might meet yours without shame. Hope. And that was a prayer. To live a good life and one day get to be in the happy hunting grounds or in heaven. So that's a pretty good prayer the old chief came up with there, isn't it? We have one more feather we can do here, and it looks like I had one bead left in there. Did you have any particular questions in mind that may be about some things we haven't covered?
Well, I was wondering about this because I just spelled it. Do they tie it? Do they cut the feathers out. They cut, the bear skin out, and they tie it on it.
Right, and they would wind it around. Have you seen a willow tree that bends real easy? And you can take a branch from a tree like a willow that weeps over like that,
Yeah.
and you make a circle out of it.
Mhm.
Because circles are very important in Indian religion and customs. A circle. When people would talk, they'd sit in a circle. You know why? In a circle, if everybody is sitting in a circle, there's no head. Nobody's in control. Somebody has to be a leader and somebody has to be back. But in a circle, everybody are what? Equal. And so that's the way the Indians would sit frequently. And so they would make things in a circle, because a bird's nest is a circle, and a foxhole is a circle. So the Indian believed in the sacredness of the circle, and that we all are born and we die, and that's a circle. And so life is a circle. So they would take a willow tree and make a circle out of it, and then put the bear skin around it, and then put the sweet grass through here like a cross. And the Indians did believe in the Great Spirit, or God, and they believe in Jesus and the cross, because they believed that Christ came to see them one time, a long time ago. There are stories about that. Oh, I know what you would like. This is a story about a boy named Kuhash, and you can help me with this story. Kuhash was a boy about your age, and he lived in his lodge with his parents, and frequently he would go out and play with this bear family. And just like you have right here, the bear paw necklace, Kuhash would go play with the bears. And sometimes he would forget his chores. He would be out wrestling with this little baby bear and that family, and he'd forget to come home and do his chores. So when he'd come home, they would scold him and say, "You have to do your chores, Kuhash." So Kuhash thought maybe he really shouldn't do his chores. So he ran off one day and went to the bear family and was going to stay. And his parents came out that evening when he should have been in the yard, and they didn't see him. So they called him, "Kuhash!" He didn't answer. Help me call him. "Kuhash!" No answer. So they started going through the woods looking for him. And as they would go through the woods, they would call him. "Kuhash!" Call him again. Call him. Go ahead. "Kuhash!" The bear said, "Kuhash is right here. I heard you've been mean to Kuhash." "No, Mr. Bear," his dad said. "He just didn't do his chores. And we're looking for him, and he should do his chores." And the bear said, "Don't you punish Kuhash. Kuhash, you do your chores from now on. And if you do your chores, you won't get in trouble." And Kuhash said, "Thank you, Papa Bear. I will be a good boy at home and do my chores, and I can still come back and play with the baby bear, can't I?" And the Papa Bear said, "Yeah, so be good to Kuhash and come back to see us." And that was a good story. So we got to do our chores, no matter what. Okay, David, that's an excellent question. I think that in the future, that more people will want to help the American Indian retain his culture, keep his culture, and not try to make him into something else. Because years ago, they would send the American Indian children to school, and they would train them to act like white children. Well, there's a trend today to send the American Indian child to school, or go to his own community school in the Indian village, and learn about what we're doing, and continue to be an Indian. For this reason, people are seeing that the traditional American Indian belief about the environment is one thing that's going to help all of us save the planet Earth. The Indian believed that you didn't pollute the rivers, and there's good in that. We can't pollute the rivers. The Indian believed that you didn't just destroy animals for no reason. So it's the spirit and feeling that the American Indian had a long time ago that is going to help the American Indian to continue to live and not be changed to a white person, but to really be an Indian person. And if people will look at the ceremonies and practices that the American Indian had about the environment, that will help them to take care of the environment so that we don't destroy ourselves on the planet. The American Indian spirit.
I've wondered, when you're talking about they train the people in school, I was wondering if they had, like, grades in school like today.
Good question. They will have grades just like they have in your school. And like when you have art, instead of having math, the Indian student, like if you leave math and go to your art class, the Indian student would leave his math class. It could be the same math class, and it could be in the 4th grade, but his artwork would be what we're doing right now. Or he might paint a scene in his community, a river coming down a hill, and they would try to let his artwork be more related to his area where he lives and his culture, and make things like his grandfather made. And that way to keep the Indian people's tradition and culture alive, won't it?
Did the Indians chop down trees?
Yes, they would chop down trees. And what do you think they would build with these trees?
Like houses?
Houses, and what else? They would carry them on the water.
Like rafts?
Rafts or canoes. And they did chop down trees. They
And
would
weapons?
and they made weapons out of stone. And then when the white man started trading, they would get some metals. And then they would have a metal axe instead of a stone axe. And today some Indians that work in Forest Service would use a chainsaw. Yeah. And in the old times, his grandfather would use a stone axe. So that was a good question. Well, do you think you have a better insight about how American Indians live and maybe what their future is?
Well, I think that the American Indians will always live forever.
Hey, that's a good hope. And every American Indian chief would enjoy you hearing us making that statement, David. And you'd probably be given another feather at their village. And that's a very good statement, and I'm glad you're sharing this feeling with your friends. Let's be friends forever. Hope! Say hope.
Hope.
Hope!